Teen Sports listeners. I am your host, Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in every single Tuesday. This is the whole hour of Saturday Morning Teen Athletes. And all those people and businesses that support those teen athletes. Look at the freshness in the room. It's just so fresh. I mean, it's fresh and happy. When Michael Baker gets the call and he shows up in 5, put your hands together, Michael Baker. I'll do what I can.
You know, Michael.
He's a team player.
Usually, if you're getting up that early and you're trying to say that phrase, it's more along the lines of, "Oh God, every single Tuesday."
Exactly.
Oh, Jesus. But this show, it's every single Tuesday.
It's exciting.
I like
yes,
it's exciting.
So you make my Tuesday.
Well, I like Tuesdays. I've always liked Tuesdays.
Tuesdays.
So we're almost the same age.
That's it.
When I think of Tuesdays, again, I was a TV guy, so just forget.
You're separated by a hair.
Way before your time.
Separated by a hair.
When I think of Tuesdays, and anybody that grew up in the 70s has to be thinking the same thing. Tuesday nights, Happy Days,
That's it.
Laverne and Shirley, Three's Company. There you go. What a block.
Exactly.
What a great. Hey. True story. I remember I was in Anaheim. Before here, I was in Anaheim, and the kids were doing something silly in the club. They were doing something, and I got them to stop, and they go, "How'd you do it?" I go, "Hey, I'm the Fonz." And they go, "Who's that?"
Google it.
They don't have a clue.
Not a clue.
Now it's the guy. That's the guy that's selling the stuff for retirement homes. He is.
Exactly is.
He's doing retirement home stuff. Henry
is.
Winkler.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
The reverse mortgage.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah, that's it right there.
Yeah, that's the ticket. Yeah.
I like to reverse my mortgage, let me tell you.
I'd like to reverse it onto my kids and let them pay for it. Anyways, there you go.
Well, we're paying for Social Security.
Well, somebody's got to.
Who chimed in there? Alexandria Marx. Well, she just got out of court. How you doing?
I did. And let me just clarify that I was not the one that was on trial. Let me just say that. Because I don't want people assuming that we have...
Santa Barbara, that's true. They make a lot of assumptions.
Yeah.
So how is that internship?
Oh, it's great. It's honestly, I highly recommend anybody who is interested in anything to go out and see what opportunities are available. I mean, there are so many different things that I have been getting exposure to now, and it just really kind of opens doors up for knowing if you really want to pursue a career or not. So I'm interning at the courthouse, and I want to become a lawyer. Those things come hand in hand, kind of.
I want to make a plug for people
ahead.
Going to the courthouse. If you ever have a legal issue, you know who your judge is. Go watch how he holds the sessions.
Or she.
Yes, how she holds the sessions, because it's just so respectful to understand our due process before you have to have your day in court.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's open.
Let me just offer a word of advice.
Yes.
Once you've seen something, you can't unsee it, okay? Just saying.
That's true. And I've had quite a few experiences with different things, and I think a lot of them have turned me off from doing other things. So exposure is key.
So information gives you contrast, and contrast helps you know what you want.
Exactly.
So as long as you are reviewing your experiences, then you're benefiting from it. If you're just suffering from your experiences, you're not benefiting.
Right. No, but honestly, it's been a great experience, and the people that I've gotten to talk to and meet, it's just really shown me what type of community we have. And I've been interning with Judge Hill, and he's a great person to intern with because he really does let you have so much insight in how the process works, and just discussing different things with him has been amazing. So it's been a great summer. I've just been doing that. I have my job that I go to. Obviously here, this is always a fun time. Always a fun time. I know. Pay the big money right there.
Exactly.
But
what surprised you most during your internship? You went in thinking this is what it's probably going to be like. What came completely out of left field for you?
Well, it's interesting. I have had a lot of experience in the courthouse, given that I've done mock trial for 4 years, and there's a few other mock trialers who participate in this from Dos Pueblos, which is our competing team, but I was already friends with those people, so it's okay. And we talk about a lot how, there's different things like plea bargaining, for example, where attorneys will go into the chambers and we get to see things like that happen, or just, it's really interesting to see. And Judge Hill, for context, is a criminal judge. I think he might be one of the only ones in the county. So it's interesting to see how those cases get thought through and see how people settle and what that whole process really looks like.
You get to see that?
Yeah, mostly. I mean,
awesome.
Not all of it, but we do get exposure to a lot of different things. So seeing how the attorneys will say, "Oh, we could do this and this or whatever."
Do you like the system? I mean, from your.
I think it depends on who's a judge. I think Judge Hill is very fair based off of what I've seen on his rulings, and but I personally, what type of attorney I would be if I decided to pursue criminal law, I'd probably be a defense attorney, and that wasn't because of this experience necessarily. It was because of what I've seen over the long term. So that hasn't changed my mind yet. I don't know what else to input on.
How did you get your internship?
Well, it's interesting. Because I was involved in mock trial, I have had quite a bit of experience with Judge Hill. I know that he's had high school interns before I just graduated, but it wasn't as easy as it was for other people to get this internship. My mom also happens to know his wife, so she brought it up to her. Then she said, "Oh, you can go talk to Judge Hill." So I did, and I sent him my resume. I sent him a few emails. It took him a while to respond, and then that type of correspondence happened as well. So it wasn't as difficult as I thought it could have been, but some people have it easier than others.
Not as hard as getting on this show where I begged you.
I had to wait several months for my email back.
Seriously.
Sorry.
You went into spam.
I know.
Like, dear God. And here I am praying. Oh, please, Spirit, have her contact me. You know what I'm saying?
I know. So,
right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So it definitely pays to be persistent in pursuing an internship.
I mean, So I think just because you get no the first time doesn't mean that it should be a no the whole time. So, yeah.
Did you learn how to pound your fist on the table and yell at the witness and say, "Your Honor, will you make him answer the question?"
Yes. No. So that was another thing. I didn't really answer your question. What surprised me? It's interesting to see how much mock trial really was kind of like an actual proceeding. Right. Wow, I cannot speak right now. So that was interesting. But there's different facets. I've never witnessed a bench trial really, because we always did jury trials and mock trial. But I'll get to witness an actual jury trial too soon. So that'll be nice how they choose jurors, etc.
Nice.
I think. I don't know which case is lined up for next. But
nice.
Anyway,
so
it's
that's
been a
the
good
whole
experience.
summer for you.
Yeah.
Until you leave for Berkeley.
Correct.
Nice.
So that's what I've been doing.
Objection.
No,
I'll just say. I don't even know where that came from.
Overruled.
I know. Nice.
Well, in addition to doing internships, I would encourage you to also take someone out to coffee or invite somebody to talk or ask if you can get an appointment with somebody whose work you admire and learn about their journey and what they've done and lessons they've learned along the way.
Now, you might want to be specific as to who she.
Yeah, in the courthouse.
I was thinking, why don't she could take out the accused, okay? She could take out one of the jurors to coffee. So we need to be specific as who you take to coffee.
Lawyers, professors,
exactly.
Not people on trial.
Executive, nonprofit executives.
You never want to leave the courthouse on misdemeanor Thursday or felony Tuesday and say, "Wow, which felon do I want to take out for coffee today?"
But this is a really good suggestion to give people. Go onto LinkedIn, read people's profile. It shows their profession. And especially if they're in town, send them an email and say, hey, can I have a cup of coffee with you? That is an excellent way to go searching for your dream job, your dream career.
And bring out as guests on Teen Sports Radio this summer. It's wonderful. It's a nice, safe place.
Well, I have to say, I know that we are not transitioning to Anthony yet, but I have to say, that's how I met Anthony, who is our next guest, was through another internship. So I've had quite a few in my time and my short time, and I really can't advocate for exposure to as much as you can, as much as I want to. So I really think that it's a great experience that everyone should have a hand at. So
yeah, well, I tell you, I was blessed to meet Anthony Rodriguez. Actually, a friend of mine in the business asked me if I would be kind enough on a Friday night. I was actually with Mona. I love Mona. Mona Wild is also in the house. Everybody says, it's talking. Nobody wants to introduce. We're so informal right now.
I know.
Mona
we are
Wild. Gift planning, Westmont College. Okay. So I was actually at a barbecue with her, and I get this random phone call, and you should never pick up a random phone call, okay, because it was blocked. Anyway, it was my friend, Judy Perrin, and she goes, hey, can you help me out? I have you to look at something for me. And I said, yeah, sure, just say I could do it after the barbecue, at 8 o'clock on a Friday night. Like, who's going to say yes to that, right? If they're from out of town. Are they going to stay over? No. So for sure they're going to say no. And they said, yes, they're from Victorville. And I'm like, and then you gave me the smushy sign, so I guess we'll have to wait until after break to finish the story. Hold their attention. Everybody fill up your coffee, and then we'll listen to all your wonderful new commercials, and then we'll take a break right now. This is Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen. We'll be back with more after these messages. We are back, and this is the Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday.
I forgot who I was. Okay, so we're at this barbecue. I'll fast forward. So, lo and behold, this, amazing man, Anthony Rodriguez comes in with his, extended family, and I had to look over some paperwork, and then 3 hours later, I think, we're sold. First of all, he walks in with the Yankees, yeah, that's right, Michael Baker.
See you later.
Bye, everybody. No, Michael, get back in the house. And that's how we were connected, and it was awesome. So fast forward, you went over paperwork and fixed all that up, and then I got tamales, and we're all talking, and it was just awesome. So we just connected. You just know when you know people. It doesn't matter, the ethnicity or whatever, you just connected. Look in somebody's eyes, whatever that word is.
Ethnicity.
That word.
Ethnicity.
We just connect.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what the skin or the whatever. I just know this guy, Yeah. And then he just, did told me a little bit, and then he goes, yeah, I work with kids. I didn't even get really much past that. And I said, hey, I got a kids show, Teen Sports Radio. And I just said, you want to come out? So then we jumped, and I said, I reminded him, to come out today. And he showed me this video, half hour ago, right? And then I looked at it, and then Ann was with me because, she doesn't have a kitchen. I don't know if you know that. So she cooks at my house, right? And we're all barbecuing. And I saw this thing, and I'm like, well, I guess I needed a cleanse. Wow! I just lost it. Because anytime, if you have your childhood, and I had a kind of messed up childhood, and, we're all messed up in some way, shape, or form. So I guess I needed a cleanse, right, Dee?
Alexandra, give us a full introduction to our guest today.
How do I start?
I don't know.
Anthony,
I'm posting the video on Teen Sports Radio.
It's a great video.
It's an awesome video.
It's a great video. And Anthony is just one of those people that brightens up the room, that you can always, how many times have I texted him at 12:30 in the morning saying, I need help with something? I don't know. He's just one of those people that extends himself. His wife, Bianca, they're just an amazing tag team together, and they do so much for the community, especially the Hispanic community. And we've just put on so many great events to really shed a light on what these societal norms are when people are discussing suicide and mental health. And it's so important that we do that early on in people's lives and do preventative work so people can ask questions when they need to, as opposed to just leaving it in the dark like we normally do. And so it's really great when we have people like Anthony who are willing to share their stories and share what they've gone through and how they overcome it, so people can know that possibility is out there.
And I didn't mean to forget Bianca, because she's a 10 and she's your light, and I didn't mean to. Bianca, you're gonna listen to the show right now, girl. I'm your sister. We're gonna do a little try. We're gonna be hanging. We're gonna be queuing. I got the whole back. You like the backyard? It's all finished now.
Nice.
We're the familia of the familia. And those tamales, I want more.
Well, see, my mother-in-law is a tamalera from Our Lady of Guadalupe Church.
Gotcha.
So she's the one.
That's it.
She's the one. So she's
That's
the one.
it.
She's the one that
I
actually
told
made
Dominique
famous.
I want to learn Spanish now. I said, I don't know the language, but she goes, we need to start taking Spanish. And I said, okay, now I'm ready.
We'll just make this a whole Spanish-speaking show.
That's it.
You know, so
Hola todos. Ahora
everybody knows, though, is that this year we're giving up the spot just because of health issues that actually obviously that I just suffered, and my family, my father-in-law too. So this year we won't be at fiestas, but you don't have to wait till fiestas to get her tamales, though. Just so you guys know. So in September she starts selling them to raise money for the church for religious education. So just call the church in September and you guys will get it.
Excellent.
So I'm going to let you, because I'm going to put the video up.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give it top billing. Boom. I've already emailed Robert Burrows, our web guy, and Michael Baker's gonna. I know after he listens to everything. He don't even have to listen to everything, because I already looked at him. He looked at me already. He's got me. I got him. Okay, but why don't we start from the beginning? Because we're just gonna share your story. It's amazing.
You let me know where you would like me to start.
Start from the beginning of the video. We'll just start. It's awesome.
Well, from the beginning of the video, my childhood was rough. My father was an alcoholic and a drug user, but my mom was a very hard worker and very dedicated, to the family and stuff. So growing up in that environment, I lost my father. He was 35. He died in front of me of a heart attack. And so from there, everything went downhill for me personally as a kid. That was at the age of 5, and at the age of 5, going to my father's funeral, I was told to shut up and suck it up, as a man. So my voice was already taken at that moment.
This is hugely important.
Yeah.
Because this happens so much, especially to the men in our society.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So that's one thing I stress a lot, because you take away our voice. And when we don't know how to let our feelings, our emotions out, that's where the damage begins. So that happened, and then a couple months after that, I started being molested by a family member, and that happened for many, many years. And there my voice was taken away again. I had no voice. So, growing up with all that emotions inside, not knowing how to actually have emotions or show emotions, the first thing that you do is you rebel and you become, violent and hurt. So things tend to go downhill from there. And it was a very hard childhood. I got jumped into a gang at the age of 12, got my first tattoos at the age of 12, and I tried to take my life several times. I'm a 3-time suicide attempt survivor. And just a month ago, 5/26, I almost lost my life again due to a brain aneurysm.
Wow.
So I just got out of the hospital.
You're meant to be here.
It literally, cats have 9 lives, but I'm already at 8. So,
God has big plans for you.
Yeah, and you know what? And what helps me the most is my kids. And Alexandria, I love to death, and my wife and I love her to death. I mean, she's an amazing kid and has so much potential, and that's what keeps me going, is because if I promise these kids something, then I need to follow through. And I think that's what parents forget, that these kids are going through so much these days that it's hard for them to talk.
Yeah, they're having to emotionally process way more events and information than we ever did.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So, my life was very, very difficult. I mean, I've been left for dead. I've been shot. I've been stabbed. And it's seeing how life is now. It's a big difference. And these kids need to realize that they're worth it. They are worth a lot, even though sometimes they think they're not. So I really hope that we can get that through.
That's so beautiful. When you, if I could ask you real fast, and or we can even do it after break, when you hit the bottom where you realized, wow, you keep getting, I'm going to say resuscitated. You keep getting, literally. You have to be in your body. Yeah. When did you decide, holy, wow, love, light, that there was something else that you should move towards?
We're going to hold on that in that break because I want everybody to come back and listen for his answers. So I say, oh, yeah, that's a catch. All right, that's a nice little data point. There you go. All right, let's take a break. Erica Salda, Queen of Teen, will be back with more after these messages. We are back, and this is the Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in every single Tuesday. All right. Bring it on.
Bring it on. All right. So from the bottom, right, to the top. So it took a lot for me to realize that life was worth living. Because everything, as a kid, when you screw up so much, that's all that people know you as someone that is not worth it, that's going to screw up, that's not going to make anything of themselves. And you begin to believe it. You really begin to believe it. And I think one of the things that helped me realize that life was a lot more than what I felt it was is I was tired of burying my friends. My mom would go like, oh, we'll go to church. Well, I am going to church. I'm going to go bury another friend. And it was like literally every week that I was burying somebody. And one of the incidents that caught my heart is when they killed my 13-year-old friend. They stabbed him in the back of the ear with an ice pick, and they carved the gentleman that killed him, carved his name in his chest. And that young boy, he was on the phone with me right before that happened. So reaching that point where you're going to try to go get that kid out of where he's at because he's in a bad position, knowing where he was standing at, and going up to the house, and there's nothing but police cars already, and I knew that something had happened. And they blamed me. Even though I wasn't there, I had nothing physically or personally to do with it, but by the fact that I was a gang member, fact that I was older, it was automatically my fault because I should have been a better example for that young man. Mm-hmm. And so that really hit me pretty hard. And but the pain that I caused my mom and my aunts was it was unbearable, and that's why I think I wanted to take my life, is because I just wanted the pain to stop, and I felt that if I took my life, my family wouldn't have to suffer anymore. And so that's kind of one of the painful things.
That reflection of seeing ourselves in our community, seeing ourselves in our family's eyes, in our parents' eyes, or our siblings' eyes, or someone that we care about, that is the first step out of depression, is when we're thinking about somebody else other than ourselves. And when we think about somebody else other than ourselves, we actually get a breath for a moment, and in that breath, the heart opens and light's released.
Yeah, and it was huge, and when I ended up coming over here and meeting my wife, I mean, it was a whole new light. I didn't have to run from anything anymore. I wanted to change. I wanted to live because I finally found somebody that loved me for me, or liked me for me, and saw something that I didn't see or couldn't see, I guess. And, when I met my wife, I mean, there was... I didn't talk to my family. My family didn't want anything to do with me, and I don't blame them. They had every right, because I pushed them away. They didn't push me away. I pushed them away, and I think it was because I was scared that I didn't want to lose them. So there's been a lot of pain and a lot of heartache, but I'm very blessed that I do have my family. I do talk to my family. I'm very close with my family now, and there's things that still you can't take back. And, pushing my mom away the way that I did, now she has Alzheimer's, and I remember yelling at her, telling her that I wanted her to forget about me. But one of the biggest things that I think killed me today is the fact that now she might actually forget about me because she has Alzheimer's. And I think that hits me pretty bad to this day. And I don't want these kids to do this, to have, make the same mistakes and have to realize that at the last minute what they have and what they're worth. And so that's why I do share my story now, and I'm very active in the community, talking about suicide prevention and what your life is worth, because I didn't believe it at first, but I really do believe it now. And I had so many chances, and I'm not going down like that. I have 54 godchildren, which I love to death.
Wow.
And I'm very blessed for that. I mean, I love all my kids, and the school districts have allowed me to work in the schools with the kids. So on my lunch, I run to the schools and help the kids out, and allow me to be there for them. And Santa Barbara High School, actually, I got to give a shout out to them, because for the first time in my life, I wore a cap and gown.
Wow.
As one of their honorary counselor stuff. So for me, that was very emotional. It was right after I just got out of the hospital, and they allowed me to be there with my godchildren at the graduation on stage, and that was the first time I've ever worn a cap and gown in my whole entire life, because I got expelled from 3 districts. So
so you're a witness to, it doesn't matter how bad you think it is, you probably have done it worse or had it worse.
Yeah, pretty much.
You just need it. Just reach out and breathe, and reach out to someone where there's safe space where you can share your story and have a voice.
Right, and that's what I try to do. So now I am one of the co-founders of the Santa Barbara Response Network, which she is SBRN, and which provides psychological first aid for families that are left behind on any traumatic incident. We're the ones that did May 23rd, where we've done a lot of the suicides. I worked the mudslide. I worked the Thomas Fire at the Office of Emergency Services. So never in my life did I ever think that I would make anything of myself. And from what I was back then, what people thought I was going to be, I think I've done okay. So I'm very blessed to be alive, to be honest with you, because July 1st I'll be celebrating my 18-year wedding anniversary with my wife.
Wow. Congratulations.
So I'm really blessed, and I'm glad that I was able to make it through, because they just caught the aneurysm. They had given me 24 hours to live.
Wow.
But after I got out of surgery, they told my wife I didn't even have hours.
Wow.
Because it was already bleeding. So I'm very honored to be here. Oh yeah, without a doubt, and I'm very blessed.
I'm curious, what do you say to young people to encourage them?
Well, these kids go through so much. It's each person is so different, and people need to realize that, just because I've been through something doesn't mean that they're going through the exact same thing, because we're different. Mm-hmm. Each one of us handles things different, and it's okay. These kids need to know it's okay to say that you're not okay. You're having a bad day. That's all good. But we need to listen. A lot of us, we hear things, but we really don't listen. And that's where we make the mistakes with these kids. And these kids have to be able to trust us. Like if I tell, parents call me in the middle of the night, Anthony, I need you to come to my house. I'm like, okay, well, please don't ask me any questions. You need to trust me, because I'm not going to, go against your kid, because then they're not going to talk to me and I can't help them. I need to be able to help them, and I need you to trust me. So trust is a huge thing that we have to start looking at each other and realizing that we all need to be good to each other, because we all deserve it, and we all bleed the same too. So
sometimes people don't know what to say. Like, if I open the door and you tell me your story, now what? And a really nice, calm thing to say is, I see you and I hear you. Mm-hmm. You just because you've borne witness to someone's story doesn't mean that you're supposed to solve it.
Right.
The fact that you bore witness and they expressed their voice, they're going to figure it out.
Right.
I see you and I hear you.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah, I just have to say that through everything that I've seen Anthony go through and persist through, and I haven't even gotten to see him since his stint at the hospital. So I just feel like everything comes together, and I really feel like that, there's other stuff going on. But anyway, that's besides the point. to people that are out there and are concerned and don't know how to approach either their own situation or other people's situation, like, please do not also feel like you have to take it on your own, because there's nothing that you will be able to do on your own. Even if you're trying to help somebody or if you're trying to help yourself, there's just nothing. I mean, that sounds very pessimistic, but it's much easier to approach situations when you have a big support system. So I commend Anthony for being people's support system, and also just reach out to resources, because especially in our community, I mean, an abundance of resources. So it's really important. There's a lot of really great people trying to solve a lot of issues that need to be solved. So check it out, Santa Barbara Response Network. And
definitely. I mean, I'm just in awe of everything. I mean, you're amazing, Anthony. Definitely.
Thank you.
Definitely. Put your hands together. We have a lot more show after all these amazing commercials. Little hand for Dr. D. Woo! Let's take a little break. Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen, with a lot more after these messages. We are back, and this is the Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in
every single Tuesday.
Well, you know, Anthony, we have a slot open for, like, a co-host. I mean, all those in favor? Aye. Okay, there you go. Any nays? Oh, okay. Ayes have it. There you go. I'm not good at all that. That's all we have to do, right? Okay, good.
Right,
there we go.
Right,
see, that's it. So I just need a bio and a little write-up, and, you know.
Sure, actually, Alexandria actually usually does my bios.
She can write it up, and I'll take a little, here, smile. There's your pick.
There you go, huh?
There you go. That's all.
Screenshot it from the website.
There you go. Screenshot.
Not the first time I've been at this rodeo.
She's actually takes care of all my other stuff.
No, I'm just
right
kidding.
Next to her, right there.
Yeah.
So, good company.
She's an angel.
There
Let me
you go.
tell
It's
you.
awesome. Whenever you could show up, it'd be great. Oh, and then you get a commercial.
All right.
There he is, right there. So he'll give you a card, and then a nice free commercial. That's what we like to do. We like to love people who love the community. That's really nice.
Let me tell you, I love this community. Even though my very first experience in the community was, I just wanted to run, because I ran into somebody at the grocery store, and at that time I was completely full from tattoos. So my arms, from here all the way up my neck, I was completely full.
Love Santa Barbara.
Oh, it was horrible, man. It was just like I had everything tattooed all over the place. Yeah, and so a lady asked me, can I ask you a question? I was like, yeah, absolutely. Ask me the question. She goes, are you from LA? And I was like, oh yeah, and why? She goes, you need to get the world out of here. And she just went off on me, told me I didn't belong here, and so that was my first experience of Santa Barbara. So you got to forgive me that I kind of wanted to run the other way, but on the other hand, I'm very grateful for all the people that I've met here in Santa Barbara, because they actually have given me the opportunity to get to know me as a person, and I never had that opportunity in Los Angeles. Growing up in East LA, obviously it is what it is, but being here, I mean, Alexandra's just been an angel with us. She's helped me out because I'm not very good at putting my words on paper, so she's done amazing stuff for me.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
And everybody from the Santa Barbara Response
Why
Network,
does everybody all at once? Right, and then they all look at you. I mean, why all look at you, Dominique? What's up with that?
Yeah, so it's been a blessing. It's been a huge blessing. All the people and all the support that I've gotten, and I'm glad that people are given a chance to get to know me as a person and who I am now, not for who I was, but if I didn't go through the things I went through before, it wouldn't make me the person that I am now. And so I want people to realize that they can do the exact same thing, and they don't have to do it alone, and they really don't.
Absolutely. So you have an event coming up.
I sure do. Actually, we have the Out of the Darkness Walk, which is our annual suicide awareness and prevention walk, and it's an amazing walk. It's not a far walk. And the whole purpose of that walk is to bring these families together that have been affected by suicide, and to let them know that we're not going to forget. We're going to honor the ones that have lost their lives to suicide, and we are going to do whatever it takes to let other people know that they can do this. They just have to ask for help, and that's probably one of the hardest things ever to do is to ask for help. But it's okay to ask for help, and once you get through that hurdle, then we can roll with the punches together. Nobody has to do this alone. And it's going to be held at Ledbetter Beach, and it's held at Ledbetter Beach every year, September 9th. You can register online at the OutOfTheDarkness.org or go on to the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention website. And I'm actually the co-chair of that walk. And without everybody else's help, it's amazing. It's free to join. You don't have to pay a fee. And we have an amazing ceremony. We have a bead ceremony, which is very touching. We have, I think last year was our largest year of attendees. And sometimes you kind of wonder, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Well, we need to bring awareness to this situation, and to we can't keep putting this away. We have to learn how to read the signs, know the signs, how we can help, where do we go, who do we talk to? I mean, and there's so much in this town, it's unbelievable, but sometimes nobody wants to talk. And I'm not going to stay quiet anymore about this because I want people to know, you know what, there's many people that get abused, sexually, mentally, physically. I mean, there's so many different types of abuse. Nobody has to do this alone. It's not your fault. It's the person that hurt you. You have to say something. If you see something, say something, talk to somebody. And if nobody believes you, then you know what? Somebody can find me anywhere they can find me, and I will be more than happy to help them get through this situation because nobody deserves to go through this alone.
I have to really say that these events are so much time and energy goes into putting these on and making sure that there are the resources that you need to get the help that you need. And if if those resources aren't good enough, then they'll make sure that you find the ones that you need. And it's a really incredible event to go to. I mean, the bead ceremony is very touching. And it's an opportunity for community to show that we care. Right. You don't need to have known somebody necessarily who has committed suicide. We'd never wish that for anybody, but it's a great opportunity to just raise awareness because it is an issue. It's one of the leading causes of death for people in our country, and all over the world, but especially in America. And it's something that needs to be discussed more often. It's a bridge to those difficult conversations. Right. We need to learn how to handle that. Right. Create safe space where people can be authentic, express their story, have a voice, and just hold space for shifting of behaviors that need to happen so we have a happier society. Exactly. And so that's why beginning in August, we'll be doing the Night of Hope and Resources, which will be, we'll be, showing the film, the documentary Surviving Suicide, which is my story. And then right after we show the film, we will have resources tables there. We're going to have a resource fair. So, from many different types of resources, from medical resources, health resources, to suicide prevention resources. All kinds, because you know what? There's so many different things that can lead to somebody wanting to think about taking their own life. It's not just one thing. So the way that I see it, that's the whole purpose of me doing this, and with the team. And it's really important. So I would like people to be looking out for that. There is a second documentary that came out, but the one that we are going to be showing is Surviving Suicide. So please keep looking at the website, Santa Barbara Response Network website, and see when the dates will be coming up, because that will be coming up soon. And they will be able to ask any questions to myself and also the producer and creator of the film.
Beautiful. Let's go for a break, hey? Let's do it. All right, enjoy those commercials. Take a little break. Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen, will be back with more after these messages. We are back, and this is the Santa Barbara Teen Sports Radio Show. I am your host, Erica Salda, the Queen of Teen. Please tune in every single Tuesday. That was such a cute little hug. I want to take a picture of that. Oh, my goodness. Oh, Dominique, here, start talking.
All right, we have Alexandria and Anthony. Yeah.
Start talking, Dominique. Well, the radio show.
Okay, so this is two Tuesday morning, right? And so, but we're talking about a slightly heavy topic, but the reason for it is you want to take a breath and make room in your day so that you're holding space for whatever emotions that need to be processed. Because if we're going to prevent suicide, it's the things that we do every day that makes a difference. Looking people in the eye, taking a moment to breathe, really caring when you say, "How are you?"
Right. And sometimes that's all it takes to be able to let somebody know that you care. Because a lot of people get overlooked. And, you know, it literally, I mean, I know a story of this one kid that he was just ready to take his life, got all his books, ready to go home, and just one person just said, "Hey, how's it going? You know, it looks like you're having a bad day." And little did that kid know is that kid was already taking his books home so his mom wouldn't have to clear out his locker, you know, and it just takes that one person just to say one thing to anyone, and it's amazing what words and just listening, you know, do, and it's really important.
We've certainly heard a lot nationally what a huge problem suicide is, and certainly with the recent suicides of Anthony Bourdain and Kate Spade on a national level. And the fact that mental illness has been increasing, especially among young people, and commend you for your work with, particularly with kids. Can you put a face on it for Santa Barbara? What does it look like, mental health and suicide in Santa Barbara County?
The way that I see it, I mean, it's like you said, it's nationally that it's increasing, and I think the main focus on that for us here is that we need to talk about it and we need to bring awareness to it. And everywhere in the nation, it's going up. And what is it that we're not doing? We're not opening up and talking about the situation. We've lost a lot of lives this year already. Back in 2009, we had the rash of suicides, which we had a total of 61, 6 of them from the same gang. And that's the reason why the Santa Barbara Response Network started, was because of the rash of suicides. And that's one thing that we need to talk about is we can do something to help people that are dealing with a mental health condition. The way that we talk about suicide is making sure that we don't say committed, making sure that we say maybe died by suicide, and not make it like a crime, and let people know that it's okay not to be okay. If you're not comfortable talking to somebody, there's the 1-800-273-TALK, which is a national suicide prevention hotline. If somebody has been affected by suicide, there is a free services, the Santa Barbara Response Network, which they can contact 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for free, and we respond. And all they have to do is just make that phone call, and we'll help them through the hard times. And there's so many different resources, like Alexandria said. Look up our website. Look up the Santa Barbara Response Network, American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. There's so many different resources that we can go to. But it is affecting everywhere, and it's the second leading cause of death for ages, I believe, 15 to 25, I believe, but number one for responders.
Wow.
Police officers.
Wow.
Okay. It's a number one cause. It's the lead
so
of
when
death.
we see our police officers and our firemen,
First
we need to
responders.
look them in the eye and tell them thank you.
You have to say thank you, because you know what? I'm working in the Office of Emergency Services. I was the one that helped out with the phone center. I received most of those phone calls of missing persons that morning. And that morning, little did I know, I also took the phone call of one of my students, which was Jonathan Benitez. He was my student, and I took that phone call, missing persons, and so stuff like that stays with you, and it never leaves you. But the best that with my background, the things that have happened to me, a lot of people are asking me that question, like, why? How are you holding up? Well, I'm holding up because I need to be that voice. And you have to, but you're human, and it hurts, But luckily, I have people that I can talk to, and that's what the important thing.
Yeah, we're not alone. That's
Not
the
alone.
biggest thing. We're not alone. Reach out. Ask for help.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's okay. Don't be embarrassed. Many people are living their lives with a mental health condition, and it's just like diabetes. If you don't get your insulin, you can die, and it's the same thing with the mental health condition. You can die from it too, but you can get help, and it's okay to ask for help.
And smile.
Yeah.
When you see the kids in the store, smile.
Exactly.
That eye contact and smiling is putting people in the neocortex, so they're forming relationships and learning.
Yeah.
And, when you see people with a frown and they're never talking about the future, they're in their limbic brain. You know where they are by the emotions you see on their face.
Yeah, and it's amazing. A lot of the kids say, "Hey, Anthony, why do you always say hi to everybody?" I'm like, well, you know what? You never know what anybody's going through. You can't judge a book by its cover at all. And hopefully, I would love for you guys to get the book, which will be coming out November 1st, which is called The Santa Barbara Project. And it's by Nathaniel Gray. Nathaniel, actually, I really want to say thank you for giving me a voice on that book. So my story will be out on that book with many amazing other people. And I really hope that you guys will actually take a look at that. So many stories, many lives.
Beautiful. Let's take another break. We've got a shorty after this. This is it. Oh, this is it. This has gone by so fast.
Oh, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
We're done. Santa Barbara, we love you. We love you. I tell you, Anthony Rodriguez.
Thank you.
We're done. God bless Santa Barbara. See you next week.